Welcome back, or welcome in general, with your host, the Shy Guy. Except it's not just your host, as in just me today. We are doing another Super Euro collaboration. Today, as title suggests, we will be doing EUROBEAT HOLIC Volume 1. Why have I decided to do this? Considering we're getting to the end of this little arc in our series, doing one volume or one album series of each label within the EUROBEAT genre, then we need to tie bridges between certain things of the EUROBEAT genre. Toho being one of them. If you've been following my channel, then you will know from SEB 2021, I've stated previously before that Toho often gets mistaken as a third generation to EUROBEAT, a subgenre of EUROBEAT, a different genre entirely that's not even related to EUROBEAT, but as our second host, Sans Triple today, will tell us, Toho is nothing to do of the sort. I'm not going to explain Toho or EUROBEAT any further. All I'm here is to just review whatever EUROBEAT HOLIC is, learn a thing or two, and pretty much just tell you maybe why we should be giving Toho, EUROBEAT, a second chance, first chance, or just any chances in general, because it is actually probably a lot better than what you actually think it might be.
Yo, what up? It's me. So, the topic of our collab today, EUROBEAT HOLIC. EUROBEAT HOLIC is an album series between EUROBEAT Union and SOUNDHOLIC. SOUNDHOLIC mostly releases multi-genre Toho albums, which usually only have one or two EUROBEAT songs on them, and a few EUROBEAT adjacent songs in between the other genres on there. SOUNDHOLIC has EUROBEAT at their core though, as their first album in 2006 already featured EUROBEAT. Besides those multi-genre albums, they also have a few album series specifically dedicated to a single genre, like one for jazz, one for metal, piano or rock. EUROBEAT Union, on the other hand, is like the name suggests, very EUROBEAT and Italo-disco focused. Its two most prominent producers are DJ Command and FN2, which leads into the collaborative EUROBEAT HOLIC. The series has 8 entries so far, 5 mainlined entries and 2 non-stop mega mixes, and one containing their songs from initially the arcade. There's also Summer Euro Billion Dollar Girl, which might also count, but it only has 2 new songs, so who really cares? The first entry in the EUROBEAT HOLIC series will be our topic today. It was released in 2017 as a non-stop mix by DJ Boss and stayed exclusive that way for 4 years until they finally released the separated edition, which is the full versions of the songs. All songs on this album are arranged of one or multiple songs from the Toho project indie game series. It mostly consists of the 2 EUROBEAT Union producers mixing previously released SOUNDHOLIC songs. This includes songs that were originally EUROBEAT as well, like the second song on this first album. That's why I'm a bit clueless and curious why Shy Guy chose this album specifically as her first look into Toho EUROBEAT as a whole, instead of a older series with primarily new songs. The obvious choice would have probably been the long-running Toho EUROBEAT series by A1, especially since I know that Shy Guy is a fan of Jester Stebbins. Another choice would have been the only partially Toho-focused Yurubaka Ichidai by EUROBEAT Union, which would also have made a lot of sense. That is not to say that EUROBEAT HOLIC is inferior, it's just an unexpected choice for the very first review due to its remake nature. But whatever. Despite having said that, there's also brand new arrangement on these albums, so let's just get into it. The first song, Pandora Zone by Nana Takahashi, arranged by DJ Command. It's an arrangement of Dream Battle and History of the Moon. This is one of those new songs made for this album by DJ Command. Shy Guy knows DJ Command from making Misty Blue and Gold Night, where Dev Rodgers sang the vocals, as well as from making Red Zone from Super EUROBEAT 2021. Pandora Zone has a very nice intro. It's a very energetic song with Nana Takahashi's vocals matching the energy. I love the Eastern Story slide from History of the Moon right before the chorus. the history of the moon parts of the song are definitely the highlight compared to the Dream Battle parts. And the drumless synth only section followed by the drum and bass section is great. I could understand if someone might find that it can sometimes get a bit much with the hectic synth during the singing, but evidently it wasn't too detrimental to this amazing song as it was featured in both Initial D Arcade Stage 0 and Initial D B Arcade.
And as stated with Song 1, Pandora Zone by Nana Takahashi, which is a really nice last name, I'm just thinking of Initial D, Keisuke Rusuka Takahashi. Anyways, what does the Shy Guy think without being overly cringe? Well, that certainly is one way to introduce an album. Gotta love the foreign language too, and that it does seem to carry a heavy tint of fighting vibes. Hence the Toho games, heavy tint of fighting vibes. Like if someone did open Pandora's box within Greek mythology. Though with a hint of Japanese melody into it, a sort of little sample of it, definitely adds some kind of new lens to the song as a whole if we are talking about mythology. Japanese and Greek mythology added together into one. Probably nothing to do with the song entirely, brain just wanders a little too far off.
Okay, second song, Grip and Breakdown. Vocals Nana Takahashi and GENMAN in the remix. It's an arrangement of Owen Was Her. This is one of the songs where the original Santolic version from 2008 was already Eurobeat to begin with, though I believe this one uses the vocals of the 2016 version. This song is the definitive edition of Grip and Breakdown in my opinion. This is the only song with a big enough reach that I could imagine Shy Guy might have already heard a iteration of it once before, but probably not. I like the vocals, but one is better off not trying to actually understand the words of the lyrics, since they don't have much sentence structure. I'm not a fan of the spooky section at 301, but other than those 12 seconds, it's an amazing song. It was also featured in Initial D the Arcade, though not this version, but the aforementioned original one.
As an unfamiliar fan to a new level of Eurobeat, they certainly do like their guitars. The guitar element is very strong in Toho compared to Eurobeat itself. Only specific labels seem to do guitars. Dave Dima, Dave Rodgers, etc, etc, etc. It's like, this is going off a bit, if you understood the guitar notes, it's the pathway and the actual step-by-step cheat codes to button smashing while you're playing this game. I've never actually played any Toho games, but I'm actually really curious to play Toho games. They kind of feel a bit like Undertale in the battle scenes. Again, going off on a whim here. Either way, you have to love the vocalist, you have to love the melody, and you have to love the tension that this song carries. I feel like this one is probably a good enough introduction to Toho. But the tension within this Toho has, compared to actual Eurobeat, is actually really something to be investing time into. And if I'm gonna be wanting tension in my songs, we're definitely going to Toho now.
There's not really any button mashing in the gameplay, but the thing with Undertale was a nice catch, as
Toho Project
was one of the main inspirations for Undertale. Toby Fox went from
all my music sounds like Toho
to making multiple song collabs with Toho Project's creator Zon. Truly a pair of indie game icons. Third song, Get the Star For You, lyrics by 009 Seconds. I think it's 90 seconds? I don't know, I'm not sure actually. Also remixed by GENMAN. This is an arrangement of A Soul as Red as a Ground Cherry and Apparitions Stalk the Night. The original 2008 version was rock this time, but similar to the previous one, the lyrics used the 2015 version. With this song, it feels a bit obvious that it was made with the non-stop nature of the album in mind. A shame really, since both versions of the original rock song have a good intro. Unlike them, this one starts in full force, but then it gives us its version of that intro 10 seconds in, which does actually sound pretty cool. I just wish it would have built up to it from something calm instead.
Not a big fan of the English and Japanese mixed together, though while being told after writing this review the whole song is actually in English, it's just with a very heavy accent, and as an English spirit, English never Englishes very well for myself. No one in the UK and Britain can actually speak good English. So it's not Japanese, it's purely English. Doesn't matter either way. Also, can't hear the space vibes exactly. I'm not sure if it's really supposed to be about space, considering I just thought that the song was English and Japanese and it's not. So I'm gonna have to pass on this one, unfortunately. I do like the vocalist and how he can keep up with the song itself, considering it is quite fast-paced. Too fast. Even some fast-paced Eurobeat songs are even hard to sing itself. Plus, the outros to each of the songs in this album itself are quite fun, and dare I say they round off better than original Eurobeat songs themselves. Which is not something I would be saying, but outros also seem to be very analysed by oneself.
Fourth song, Operation Steamy Spa. Vocals by Nana Takahashi again, and remixed by FN2. An arrangement of Oriental memory of Forgathering Dream. This is the first song arranged by FN2 on this album. Shy Guy might know him from making the 2023 Dave Rodgers Motsu collab version of the song Gamble Ramble by Move. It's a very happy-go-lucky song. I'm really glad we got the non-stop version for this song. The non-stop version was pitched up, and it had this constant shuva 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 spam, which was overbearing and annoying. In this version, it's still in there 11 times, but it's fine. It's fine in this one.
This one sounds a little more space-like than the other one before. I'm not sure what the title of the song entirely is, because Google translations are always different from what the song actually translates to and what it's actually meant to be. Again, Nana Takahashi, though she seems to be 90% of this volume, she is actually really good here, despite the fact that I've given a low rating for this song. Not a big fan of some of the segments here and there. I do like the sort of talking, shouting samples that are in here. And then there's like this one last final chorus of the song, which is probably towards the end, then actually just turns things around in the song, so not all hope is lost, I have to say. It seems to have a bit more emphasis than the actual song itself. That makes sense, one way or another.
Okay, next song, 5. The Evening Star. Vocals by Hanatan or Eureka. Remixed by DJ Command. It's an arrangement of Evening Star, who would have guessed. It's a beautiful song. The constant heavy guitar and Hanatan's voice are just so strong and impactful. This is her only song on this album. I'm glad she got more on the next one. This is another song without much of an intro, due to the non-stop nature, but other than that, I think it's a perfect song. Probably my favorite song on the album. I also really enjoyed the already very closely Eurobeat adjacent Speed Trance original.
Jeez, oh, what an intro and what a vocalist. Where did this harmonizing girl hide for all this time Eurobeat has gone on from, and when Toho has gone on from? Hell, the pre-chorus and chorus itself doesn't even fail to disappoint either, unlike some Eurobeat tracks that I know of. It's an instant 5 stars out of 5 for this space melodic fighting song of despair. Fighting in space seems like the two themes I'm only going to go on about in this Toho arrangement thingy, so maybe with a bit more knowledge, I'd be able to make better comments, but at the moment, I'm definitely a big noob for this thing.
Number 6, Rainy Rainy Days. Vocals by 3L and remix by FN2, an arrangement of Oriental Sky of Scarlet Perception. It's beautiful, I don't really have much to say, it's really a beautiful song.
Does it make me think of rainy days? And if you know, the Shy Guy often goes on about the theme of particular Eurobeat songs, and if it has a theme in its title and if it doesn't live up to that or lives up to it, yes, the Shy Guy will be judging for that specific moment. Well, it's a little bit too upbeat for some rain aesthetics that I know of, but since it can remind me of the following anime, Weathering with You 2019, then it's fair game to note any ounces of this melody to be sounding like raindrops. And with me not understanding Japanese, how am I supposed to know what and why she means this type of weather? My guess is probably always seems to be heartbreak, because I feel like people don't like rainy weather in general. I know Scottish people don't like it because it rains 90% of the time. I could look at translations, but translations always seem to be a bit rough. Main thing is, it doesn't really sound like a rainy, rainy day. Too upbeat for that main gist there.
Number 7, All Mankind's Hisotensoku. Vocals by Takumi Makoto and remixed by GENMAN. It's an arrangement of Our Hisotensoku. This song has a very unique style, since it, the original, and its source are parodies of 70s mecha anime openings. Very unique, very cool.
Oh yay, we're back to a male vocalist! Yes, and I know that Nana Takahashi is in this. And I fear this album is 85% girls and 9% Nana Takahashi. But that's good because then it will make me want to explore the male vocalists and then get around to different types of Toho, so actually it's not as bad as you think it is. As said, no harm in that of course. With the thumping beats for the intro though, it's good and it's gonna grab your attention from the get-go, so what can go wrong with the song? The duo is interesting enough, and I don't know what the song is about, so we'll leave it at that as what the context of the song is. The duo is interesting, and I say it's interesting because I like the fact that Nana Takahashi is just sneaking her way into the pre-chorus like this. With Eurobeat, it's mostly like the two clashing together, or they're both singing at the same time, or it seems to be more of a fighting. One sings one chorus, one sings pre-chorus, one sings each verse, and sometimes it can be a little bit jarring, but with her being under the male vocalist, that is actually an interesting style to say the least. Plus, for some reason, why does a male vocalist sound like he's supposed to be performing in opera? Maybe it's just his style of singing. I know there's different types of singing as it is, but he's good, and it's alluring, and maybe after this volume I will listen to more songs by this vocalist, so we learned something new today, at least.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't find anything on this male vocalist. It seems like this is their only known song ever. Number 8, Destined Encounter. Vocals by GSK48 and remixed by FN2. An arrangement of UFO Romance in the Night Sky. This was also pitched up in the non-stop mix. The intro lets us hear the UFO approaching and sets the dreamy alien theme and vibe of the song pretty well. The synth might be a tiny bit too aggressive for the happy laid-back vibe of the rest of the song, but this vibe is where FN2 shines the brightest. They seemed to be aware of this, looking at which songs they distributed between FN2 and GENMAN in this album, Dreaming Turbo being the outlier. I can think of 3 Eurobeat songs featuring bird sounds. This is the only one of them that isn't by Stebbins and features a specific sample of seagulls. So yeah, the only non-seagull bird song I know. Random aspects, whatever.
Spooky intro. Reminds me of a Eurobeat song. I couldn't tell you which one, probably Brat Sinclair. Do I like the rest of the song though? And I'm saying that because the answer is obviously going to be no. There's a screechy element in it that feels like a rip headphones kind of moment. I just don't like screechy elements in my music. I guess that's just a sort of sensory thing. Good vocalist either way though, but no, it's just that one element just ruins the song entirely.
Number 9, GRISAILLE. I don't know how to pronounce it. GRISAILLE? I don't know. Vocals by Nana Takahashi and remix by Mascalado. An arrangement of the Lost Emotion. This Soundholic power mix is by Mascalado, one of the Soundholic's in-house producers. So no Eurobeat Union involvement in this one, it seems. And it indeed is a very powerful song. It's a contender for my favorite song of the album. I like the Super Mario lava level ass sounds in the intro, and throughout the song they add a bit of a mysterious vibe, I guess.
Woo! Let's get in on this song, making a reference to a sample, and that's just common within Eurobeat world itself. I like how Nana Takahashi can range from deep to higher pitched vocals within her songs. Suspenseful music at the start of the song and during the marker of 2 minutes and 22 seconds to 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is probably all I can like of the song itself, because some part of me, and this is a strange comment to be making, but some part of me wants to kind of make this song just a tad bit slower. Don't ask me why, but it feels too fast and the execution feels a bit bad. If it was just a tiny bit slower, maybe the song would be a bit more enjoyable. I don't know why, but yeah.
Number 10, Dream Refrain. Vocals by Nana Takahashi again, and remix by FN2. It's an arrangement of Dreamland and Inanimate Dream. This one is another DJ Boss non-stop pitch-up victim. Glad we at least got the normal version at the end finally. I'm a really big fan of the sources for this arrangement, and it's very well done. I get that not taking much but the main vocals from the original songs is the entire point, but I do miss the piano and, I guess, choir I would call it, combo from the original. As you may know, in Eurobeat it is basically a tradition to use the technique of removing parts of the vocals from repeated lyrics at the latter half of a song to freshen it up a bit. I do like that, but I love it even more when they add extra lyrics that weren't there in the previous loops, like here.
The screechy sound that I don't like is back. The song is translated as Dream Refrain. No, just refrain from dreaming. Don't go to sleep. Don't dream about silly things in life. Something I should be telling myself way too much because my dreams are becoming memes at this point. I know, that was cringe, sorry. And with briefly looking at the English translation because I was curious from the title from the get-go, and listening to the Japanese, well, I'm not sure what it's called, following those along while listening to Japanese songs is actually really interesting to see how the words are pronounced. Saying that because there is nothing else for me to work on with this song, and to be honest, with the low rating that it has, this feels a little bit more like a nightmare than a dream. Just don't like the vocals here, the melody, the execution, the theme of the song itself. It's just, Norma Sheffield's songs about dreams are probably a bit more dreamlike, if anything.
Number 11, Night Bird. Vocals by 709 Sec and remix by DJ Command. This song is an arrangement of Nightbird, again who would have guessed, and Deaf to All But Song. It's the second 709 seconds song on this album, and just as the first one, it doesn't have an intro and jumps right in. But for the rest of the song, I prefer to Get the Star for You from this album. I actually like this song a lot, Nightbird. I already loved the Revival Best version before I even heard this one, and I'm happy they used its lyrics instead of the originals. This song probably has the best English vocals on this album. The guitar solo and the corn part are amazing.
Something Something Something, Fernando Bonini's song by Nando, Dark and Bright, featuring on Super EUROBEAT. Why am I mentioning and referencing original EUROBEAT songs to this? I don't know, I think it just kind of reminds me. The song feels a little like, yeah, Dark and Bright is mentioned, but he has turned to the dark side. This whole song is in English as well, but it's like, I didn't realise, like the other song, that the whole song was in English. Till I looked up the lyrics, of course. He has turned to the dark side and into the night bird. No, his girlfriend turned into the night bird. Or whatever it was. Not sure why I made that wild connection. Though here, a guitar solo to emphasise this night bird theme, and that maybe the girl or anyone will treat him better, is the key scoring to this song and the reason why to be giving it a straight up 5 to 5. This feels like not a sequel, because sequels are kind of direct, but a loose kind of remake or reboot to EUROBEAT songs where when a guy gets his heart broken, it's a big deal because men are not allowed to express their emotions as such, and it's like really intense and deep and passionate. Especially when they've done everything for the girl and the girl's just like, yeah, no, I don't like you. We need more songs like this where men can express their feelings over heartbreak or whatever sadness they endure in their lives. That's the main thing. So 5 stars out of 5 for Nightbird by this interesting alias of a singer. Feels like a vaporwave singer title name thingy. I don't know. Music is a very strange world to be exploring.
Number 12, Kiseki. Vocals again by Nana Takahashi and remixed by FN2. It's an arrangement of the primal scene of Japan, the girl song. It's, in my opinion, the second best FN2 song on this album. It's really great, amazing song.
At this point, I'm gonna keep repeating myself with Nana Takahashi because I've got nothing else to talk about because I don't have the knowledge to be expressing. Let's just go with the star rating of the next couple of songs because that should be more than enough to convince you on why it's a good song and why it's not a good song, even though they all seem to have the same number for the next 3 songs. Anyways, it's instead of me just saying that she's good, the melody's good, etc, etc, and I'm just gonna be saying the same stuff over and over again. To be honest, I'm just ranking the sounds that I'm hearing. I have no idea of the themes of each song, and right now, when like you first get into EUROBEAT, you're just listening to the amazing sounds, the vocalists. You're barely paying attention to the lyrics, and that's, to be fair, that's all I'm doing. If it sounds good, it sounds good. That's the only reason why they're getting star ratings. And maybe later on I will interpret lyrics into a more deeper level, but right now, who cares? It's new music, it's something to be looking forward to. That's more than enough for me at the moment.
Number 13, DREAMIN Turbo. Vocals by Nana Takahashi, remixed by GENMAN, an arrangement of Green Witch in the Sky. It's a very energetic but happy song. It's the only duet on this album, but it's a really good one.
It's a decent duo to say the least, but unlike the other song before, this feels more like, and as mentioned in the other song, this feels more like the fighting duo instead of a duo. So D-U-E-L, not D-U-O. They are fighting, they are clashing, it is a jarring. Like some EUROBEAT songs. But it's interesting all the same, it's just nothing else I can potentially say for the song.
Number 14, YUBIKIRI GENMAN. That's probably how you pronounce it. I don't know. Vocals by Nana Takahashi, remixed by FN2, an arrangement of Yokai Beck Shrine Road, and Futatsuiwa from Sado. Finishing the album, we get a second completely new arrangement, this time by FN2. Just as the sources, this song has this bouncy feeling that the original has.
We are at the end of this album, which means we get to play Does this song round it off as a whole? And the answer is, oh yes, of course it does. And that is all I wish to say about this song.
So, in conclusion, I absolutely adore this album. It is consistently very high energy, with even the calmer songs having very hectic aspects to them. There's no other genres besides Eurobeat, unlike the usual Soundholic albums, and neither are there any Italo Disco-esque songs in between, like you would expect in a Eurobeat Union album. But I don't believe a lack of variety is a detriment when this album has such a good collection of songs. It's a nice start for the EUROBEAT HOLIC series, but in my opinion, with the exception of the 2 mega mixes, all 5 subsequent albums easily surpass this one.
So that is the end of the songs reviewed. For the main reason why I would have chose to review EUROBEAT and Toho was to bridge the gap between the two of them, because eventually I would, maybe in the far future, if I'm still willing to do EUROBEAT, then I would bridge the gap between EUROBEAT and Italo Disco. You know, the origins to EUROBEAT. But whether or not I did that today or not is beyond me, but I do have to say I did enjoy this a lot more than I thought I would ever have done. So I guess that my overall rating for this album as a whole has got to be a strong, I suppose it's like, I want to say a 3.5, but we're not doing half stars, but I might just let it slide a little and go with a 4, just to be a little bit sort of unpredictable. You're probably gonna wonder what's next, considering the fact that I have done most of, well, what I can, every single label that has a series that features said label. We've got to the end of labels at the moment, but EUROBEAT HOLIC or EUROBEAT Sounds, or I forgot what it's called now, is mostly a circle. Not sure why they're called circles and not labels. We'll be moving on to the That's EUROBEAT series, That's EUROBEAT Now series, and then we'll probably touch upon other series made by the label still, but these aren't the ones that are introducing the label as such. For example, Initial Beat is SEP's one, but Initial EUROBEAT is David Dima's one. Other than that, afterwards it would just be reviewing every other series that belongs in the EUROBEAT genre and just encourage you into different paths of EUROBEAT. But either way, this was a good introduction to the circle. Of course, if I do like Toho, more will be reviewed in the future, but as of now, it's trying to get a consistent uploaded schedule. It is more or less just trying to see where this channel goes, and that's all I have to say at the moment. So I'll pass you back over to the second host, and we'll round off the video with that.
Yeah, that's the collab. Thank you for having me, Shagai, and see ya.